You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Tuesday, May 12th. I'm Maria Lizignoli.
I'm Johnny Connor. Thanks for listening to Four Things to Know.
Today's a special episode because it marks 1 year since we started doing this podcast.
Crazy. Time has flown by, Maria.
And it has grown so much. We're now on video, so you can watch us on YouTube. Just search Four Things to Know if you want to see our pretty faces, or just keep listening. Just keep listening.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone listening, and bigger and better things in the next year ahead, right?
Absolutely. Let's get to your first thing to know today. Nurses at North Memorial Health's Maple Grove Hospital could soon walk off the job. Their union voted to approve an unfair labor practice strike. Barrett Leone was outside the hospital with what nurses say pushed them to this point. Here's her report from noon. She also spoke with one nurse, Margaret Sampson.
Nurses tell us they don't want to strike, but they're willing to do so if necessary. No date for a walkout has been set, and this vote doesn't mean they will walk out, but instead means they can if they give the hospital a 10-day notice. Now, this announcement came from the Minnesota Nurses Association this morning. The union says that nurses here at the Maple Grove Hospital, they've been bargaining with North Memorial Health for more than a year, and they faced multiple unfair labor practices against union supporters. Nurses say there's been a 33% turnover rate at Maple Grove nursing workforce in the last 3 years. They also note there's been disparities on staffing improvement, workplace protections, and benefits compared to nurses working at North Memorial Robbinsdale Hospital. Nurses say they want change.
We want our patients to know that we are fighting for conditions to help keep experienced nurses at the bedside. We are here to tell our employer that we want to remain at the bedside for the long term. No nurse wants to strike. We want to be at work caring for our patients. But we cannot do that when we face stalled negotiations.
In a statement to our newsroom, North Memorial says it remains committed to negotiating in good faith to reach a fair agreement that supports the organization's long-term financial stability while continuing to provide safe, high-quality care for our patients and community. Adding, quote, contingency plans to continue to provide patient care during a work stoppage are in place should the nurses go on strike. Now, this all comes just days after North Memorial announced plans to merge with Stanford Health, which would include an expansion here at the North Memorial Hospital. Again, no date for a strike has been announced. The union must give a 10-day notice to the hospital before striking. Right now, negotiations are ongoing.
Number 2 today, leaders from rural hospitals are at the state capitol looking for help. The hospitals say they need a lifeline because they are under dire financial strain. This morning, we saw hospital CEOs from Blue Earth, Staples, Ely, Crosby, Cloquet, and North Shore Health at a news conference with bipartisan state lawmakers. The Minnesota Senate has already passed a bill having to do with a federal drug pricing program that lets hospitals buy discounted drugs. The bill makes Big Pharma follow the state law that was passed in 2024, which allows nonprofit hospitals to stretch limited resources to keep services like labor and delivery, cancer infusion, behavioral health, and pharmacy care close to home. The House has not passed that bill yet. Today, we spoke with Richard Ash, the president and CEO of United Hospital District in Blue Earth, and Lisa Bierga, president and CEO of Lakewood Health System in Staples, about their requests for help.
If the legislature waits until more rural hospitals are gone and services are gone, it will not be a policy failure. It will be a moral failure.
We get access to discounts on certain medications, and then we pass those discounts forward to our patients and our communities. It pays for services that don't pay for themselves. Services like Rick mentioned, OB, ambulance, ER, behavioral health. It pays for people.
The Pharmaceutical Researchers and Manufacturers of America claims the program does not lower costs or improve access and instead, quote, drives higher costs for patients, taxpayers, and employers. The legislature adjourns next Monday.
Number 3. Fire officials say one person was hurt and several animals were killed in an early morning house fire in St. Paul. This happened just after 3 this morning on Cook Avenue East in St. Paul. The fire department responded to a call of a fire on a second floor. All residents got out. One person did get hurt, but they didn't end up going to the hospital. Sadly, the family lost 2 cats and their dog in the fire. The Red Cross will now help them with housing. Investigators believe the fire may have started from a lithium-ion battery. Tonight on WCCO, our reporter Jason Rantala is looking into lithium-ion battery fire risks and the safety precautions that you can take.
And your fourth thing to know today, Maria, we have to talk about the Frost again today because their game got postponed yesterday.
I know it. And that was just so crazy to see as a headline. And you dig deep and you're like, why? Why did it get postponed? Because of illness?
Illness on just Montreal, right? Their
Okay,
team.
yes.
Yeah, and actually they released a statement. It is not hantavirus related.
Right. That was my first thought. I'm like, a whole team is sick. It's got to be hantavirus.
Yeah, what's going
it's in
on?
the news. It's not. A doctor said it is not hantavirus, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah, they haven't said much, but the PWHL, they did postpone yesterday's game, and they said the decision was due to, quote, player safety concerns related to illness. Doctors say the symptoms are not consistent, again, with the hantavirus. So tonight's game is in Montreal, and puck drop is set for 6 p.m., and whichever team wins will go on to the finals.
Exciting stuff. I'm definitely watching tonight.
Absolutely. Let's hope they can get a win. Three-peat. I mean, we got to keep that alive,
we gotta.
right? And also happening tonight, it's another big night in sports. The T-Wolves take on the San Antonio Spurs in Game 5 of a tied 2-2 series. Now, tip-off tonight, 7 p.m. in Texas. The Wolves, we know, are coming off that win on Sunday, and Wemby was ejected. He is back tonight. He did not get suspended. So no matter who wins tonight, though, there will, of course, be a Game 6 back here in Minneapolis on Friday.
Okay, so I'm going to have to go back and forth between the Frost and the Timberwolves tonight.
Yeah, click them back and forth. You know, hockey has the intermission, so you should get some time.
True.
Basketball with halftime.
And honestly, you don't really need to watch until the end. So
Unless someone elbows someone in the
neck. That's true. I'll catch the highlights. or you can catch them here tomorrow on 4 Things to Know.
Yeah, we'll be talking about it.
For sure. Now, before we wrap up our top 4 things, we do want to tell you about an extreme fire risk that's in parts of the state today. We know 35 counties are under a red flag warning. So that means fires can spread quickly and they grow out of control. And we know if you've been outside today, it's windy out there. Plus, we've got low humidity. So it really can happen quickly. So do not burn if you're in one of those counties. You can see them all on our website, WCCO.com. Now let's check in on our next weather forecast.
Hi, I'm next weather meteorologist Lisa Meadows. Your forecast for tonight, dropping down to 49, your overnight low, pretty mild. Tomorrow, a top 10 weather day, beautiful day. Sunshine, not as much wind with a high of 74.
And now, here's more to know.
We're learning more about a woman who was shot while driving over the weekend in Fridley. This was on Saturday night, just after 9 o'clock. According to authorities, the woman is in critical condition. Her 6-year-old daughter was also in the car, but thankfully not hurt. Now, police believe it was another driver who shot her. If you have any information to help find that shooter, please call police.
Pressure is mounting on House Speaker Lisa Dameth to bring a gun bill to a floor vote. The Senate passed it last week as parents of Annunciation students and survivors call for change. The bill bans semi-automatic weapons and large-scale magazines. DFL lawmakers accuse the speaker of holding the bill hostage by not allowing it before any committees. Brock Safe has 2 daughters who survived the church shooting in August. His youngest was wounded.
When these kids literally had no chance. And the reason why they had no chance is because the weapon that this monster, this horrible person used was an AR-15.
Republicans have a different explanation. A GOP spokesperson told us that, quote, the bill has not passed a single committee in the House and requires stops in judiciary, public safety, education finance, and human services finance. The speaker has said since September that she will not prevent a floor vote if the bill completes the House committee process, and she stands by that.
Lawmakers want the name of a soldier killed in the war with Iran to have a permanent place on Minnesota's map. A drone attack killed Nicole Amer and 5 others back in March. Just yesterday, the Minnesota House and Senate voted to make a change in Amer's hometown of White Bear Lake by renaming a portion of Highway 96 Master Sergeant Nicole Amer Memorial Highway. The bill now heads to the governor's desk to be signed before the change can happen.
Voters in several school districts are deciding referendums today, including in Lakeville. Voters in that southern suburb are deciding if the district's 3 middle schools will be granted $139 million for renovations and additions. Voting is happening all day. It goes until 8 o'clock tonight. And leaders say the upgrades are due to growing enrollment and pressure on existing spaces. Now, if this is passed, the tax impact would last for the next 20 years. Local leaders estimate that the owner of a $500,000 house would pay an extra $14 a month. Voters in South St. Paul, Tri-City, Princeton, and Renshaw are also voting on referendums today.
The city of Inver Grove Heights has decided to put a pause on data centers. Last night, city leaders approved a 1-year moratorium in a split 3-2 vote, something they say gives them time to figure out what is appropriate for data centers in the city. The concern stems from the proposed data center on the former Travel Tag site. The developer said this would not be a hyperscale data center, but a much smaller one with water use comparable to only a couple of homes. Many people, like Tony Scales with the Inver Grove Heights City Council, are saying they want to know more before this technology comes to town.
It gives us time to study this and figure out what is appropriate for data centers in Inver Grove Heights.
Now, this is a debate happening all across the state as cities look to balance economic development with rising concerns from residents. Minneapolis could be the next city to try to get ahead of the technology boom.
Okay, Maria, we have a couple more sports items to get to. Actually, just one, but it's not good news. Tough loss last night for the Minnesota Wild.
I think it's because you were there.
I know.
You're a bad luck charm.
And just so everyone knows, I mean, I think everyone knows by now, I've been dealing with a cold for like 2 weeks, it feels like. My voice is not gone because of the game. It's just because I'm a little ill.
Yeah, you're screaming too much at the Grand Casino Arena.
So, maybe. But it was a tough loss. And now they have to win tomorrow. They go back to Colorado for Game 5. And they're going to have to bring it home for Game 6 if they want to see their season, keep going. It's an elimination game tomorrow night. Nico Sturm, he says they just have to take it one game at a time.
You just live one day at a time right now. Right now I know that, my season is going to go on at least for another 48 hours. And in 2 days' time, we're going to try to extend it for another 48 hours. Not worried about next week or Saturday or Sunday. It's just the next game on Wednesday night.
It's good advice for everyday life, but I feel like an athlete is the only professional person that can say that about their job.
Yeah, it is super interesting, right? And now the good news, and a lot of Wild fans are pointing to this, is actually in 2003, they came back from a 3-1 deficit against the Avalanche. So there is historical precedent, but with
23 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. With the way last night's game went. I mean, they just didn't come out with much energy.
Okay.
It was just kind of flat for a playoff game.
That's such a bummer.
Yeah, maybe they can figure it out.
Hopefully. Hopefully they can figure it out.
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
We all know it's construction season right now, right?
How could you not know?
And it sucks when construction just continues to keep getting delayed, right? Usually it's human error.
Yeah, of course.
But for this next story, it's bird error.
What?
Okay. A pair of osprey has MnDOT changing its road construction plans. Get this. The osprey built a nest on a road sign along Highway 12 near Wayzata. MnDOT says the plan was to remove and replace the sign as part of the construction project already underway. But now that sign replacement is on hold until the fall.
It's kind of like the DNR. They're doing 2 jobs at once.
Yes, kind of, because ospreys are protected under both federal and state law, so they can't mess with them. So they're still going to fix the road. I mean, just the sign they can't touch. They're still going to repave everything that they had on the schedule. And right now they're working with the Department of Natural Resources to put up a new nesting structure for those ospreys. So when the birds return next year, they won't be living on the sign.
Well, that's good. And honestly, the safety of the birds, more important than the sign.
Than a new sign. Agreed.
Especially a protected species.
So cool. On that note, thanks for joining us here on 4 Things to Know. With Johnny Connor, I'm Maria Lizignoli, and we're here with the news you need every weekday afternoon by 3 o'clock.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Love podcasts? Love Minnesota?
Check out the WCCO Podcast Studio lineup.
Hear the top stories of the day with 4 Things to Know.
Discover top female athletes and teams from around the state on women in sports.
Dive into stories about faith and belief, from your local leaders to your neighbors next door, with Bigger Than Belief.
Stay in the know on the go with the WCCO Podcast Studio. Go to WCCO.com/podcasts.